and it will show you everything I've got published there at Amazon. It's just like a little page, special page for that shows all of my stuff. And the Open Walk is there, as well as the ones I mentioned before, Tripping on Woodstock, and Tomorrow's to Stay, Tomorrow's to Die, and, of course, Will the Internet Achieve Sentience down at the bottom of the list. That was the first thing I actually published back in 2014. It's a small book, but it's packed with a lot of information. And it's got a very large bibliography references section as well. I like when I do my nonfiction books, I am heavy on making sure to cite all my sources. That to me is a really important thing to do. You know, people like to know where you're getting your information from. So my references bibliography section is a large part of the book, and it has a lot of links in there to various pages, as well as information about different physical books. You know, if you want to actually go to the library and read a book instead of doing it online, then there's references for that too. So either way. And in the Open Walk, I've got a lot of references there. In fact, it's an even larger references bibliography section in that book. Again, like I say, I think it's important to cite your sources so that people know you're not just pulling it out of the air, you know, and saying, oh, this is a fact, well, when you don't really know it is. But you cite your sources, then people know you're serious about it. So that's, I think, is real important. So anyway,
so you write a book based on research, but this Open Walk, you also have a chat room or a Facebook, or do you moderate a group? Or tell us, because you have Bill M. Tracer, as I have Theresa J Morris or T.J. Thurman Morris, but we're creating this Open Walk based on your history and this radio show, and meeting me, inviting me over to Mid-South Con, and us getting to be on panels together. We've got a little bit of a history, and on YouTube there's your artwork that I presented. It's one of the very few YouTubes I made over the years was because of you. So I owe you a lot of credit for getting me to get to know your fractal artwork. And I would like to mention that Bill did before my husband died, he got to speak with him on some radio shows, and he gave us permission to use his beautiful artwork with a pastel purple, and I should know all the colors, but I've been out of art for a long, long time. But and I have been an artist in Hawaii, but for taking up, Bill, that beautiful artwork. So you're an author and an artist, and give people. You grew up in Memphis. Let's go back to you, but. Okay. I guess I did ask you to give them the Open Walk group, and then we can go into your history, and let's get a little bit of who you are. But real quick, the Open Walk, let's get that open. Yeah. Facebook is a group, or what? What is that?
Yeah, I do have a group at Facebook about the book, and you know, I've got a few quotes from the book there at the Open Walk Facebook group. I just sent that link to the chat room as well. That's among the Facebook groups. If you just, if you just go to the Facebook groups, and they have like where you can search through the groups, type in The Opened Walk. Be sure to put that ED on that open. It's opened. Yeah, so The Opened Walk. You do a search on that, you'll find it immediately. I think it'll be actually the first thing that'll pop up. So.
Well, let's see if we can't grow that on Saturday nights, folks. And I'm going to help my administrator, Chant Hanna, for the UFO Secret Space Group, which is one of our larger ones. And we'll have a UFO Secret Space Night on radio when I can get with Chant. She's doing this week the UFO NN, their network news, that's on YouTube. But Bill is agreed to join me, and we're going to try to figure out how this will be on YouTube, by the way, so you'll be able to look it up. It'll go to American Communications Online, or ACO American Communications, right, Bill? At least you'll be able to hear it on YouTube anyway. And we will grow and put our faces live in the future. But we're just getting into that TV stuff, Bill. So you found it, though, didn't you? Was it ACO American Communications Online where you Blog Talk sends it out to Stitcher, and then I have to pay a monthly dues on Spreaker, and then Spreaker puts it up on YouTube. So a lot of things are done for me due to money. Okay, you pay money and things happen. Voila. So, but you had to. I don't know all the details. I am a developer, and I do this radio show and have business 2012. But folks, we're moving so fast. Will the Internet Achieve Sentience was a book that came about while Bill was coming here. But anyway, ACO, American Communications Online, is apparently going to be a channel that we're developing. And Tommy has been holding space for us for 6 months with his spiritual sermons. So that's all you'll see for 5 or 6 months on that channel. But you did find it, Bill, right?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It's called, like you said, it's ACO, American Communications Online. That's the full title of the channel.
And yes, there is a whole lot of the stuff that Tommy's been doing for the last few months. And it breaks up an episode into parts. Typically it looks like about 7 parts to an episode. So they're about 15 minutes each part is. Oddly, it seems to have mixed up the part numbers. You know, like they're not quite in order. But so you have to look at those titles and see, okay, if you want to listen to part 1 first, then make sure to look at the titles to try to get them in order, because it kind of, I don't know, for some reason.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was out there. It existed. So I had heard Janet Carroll Lesson told me she's done shows with me for years with Theresa Morris ET Radio and Aquarian Radio, and then she and I had other radio shows, Cosmos Radio, Stargate to the Cosmos. I had Cosmos Connection on Revolution Radio, and then I've got Cosmos Radios. But anyway, there's, you wouldn't believe out there. Plus, I've paid to be in internet and on the FM radio, and I'm so connected out there that I can't tell you where all this show goes. So you can't really go by the numbers on YouTube. But now YouTube did capture at least those that were being pulled in. That Stitcher, I can pay and only have so many on there. So apparently I'm paying to have some of them on there, apparently. And I haven't been making them for a while, so we're just returning with Bill on Saturdays. And then so you'll see about 5 or 6 months of Tommy Hawk's Blood, but we didn't know it was being posted there, so we haven't marketed or advertised or promoted all those shows other than with Tommy Hawk's Blood only, because I've had my daughter sick with leukemia in and out. I've been in hospitals, living in hospitals with her, so I'm just coming back. So, Bill, can you put that link in here? I see Facebook, Bill Tracer, Amazon.com, and a Facebook group, and your number, and we can go and change that number to the opened walk. There's a way to do that when it'll ask you when you go to that group if you want to change that code there. But right now, throw that one in there, and then I'll try to locate it. Yeah, you got. I don't see Zazzle on. Let me go on down. But Bill and I will get used again to using these tools. There it is. It finally showed up, Zazzle, on my end. And this is the kind of stuff that a lot of people in social networking like to do, folks. And I was always missing this. I haven't been big on texting people or joining Facebook groups or chats. So people would join me for me or put me in their groups for me. So I'm in all kind of stuff out there. And then I had a lot of emails over the years, so I've got all those. And so you'll see me with different faces through the years, but I've gotten really, really old now. Bill still looks relatively well and young, and we'll be posting later more in the future weekly. Okay, so Bill, let's build TJ Morris ET Radio, and you've got the open walk, and then let's get back to you. Let's work on Bill M. Tracer, give people an idea, because I'm going to have people coming on in these live radio shows that get dispersed a whole lot of places. And then we're going to get it where you can see us, folks, on YouTube. Okay? So for now, Bill, give them an idea of America, because we grew up in the United States, and America, and you were one of two boys, I believe, in Memphis.
That's right.
Where did you grow up? Was it in Memphis or Arkansas?
I actually grew up in Arkansas, but I've lived in Memphis now. Actually, I guess more years than I did there. But in any event, I grew up in this little town. It's called Monette, Arkansas. It's not very far from Jonesboro, Arkansas. A lot of people have heard of Jonesboro because it's a larger town, but it's still a town.
Not as much as Mena, Arkansas, right? Mena, wasn't that where the Clintons, Mena, Arkansas? Did you ever learn where?
That's much further west. Where I grew up
is it? So you know where that is?
Yeah, Mena, like I say, it's over. I think that's near the Ozarks. It's in the western part of the state, which is where the northwestern is where the Ozarks are, and then you go on up into Missouri, and there's even more of the Ozarks. But I think Mena is maybe a little further south of the Ozarks, but it's in that general area.
I went through Mena a lot going to Texas, I think. Mena, I had 2 or 3 runs through Mena when I was working right after the government. So that was, I'd leave Memphis, go for the pyramid, go across the bridge, and go on down south through Little Rock. Does that make sense?
Yeah, Little Rock's
maybe
right about
even lower
the middle of Arkansas. But yeah.
Now, where did you live from Little Rock in Jonesboro?
Like I said, where I lived there in Monette was, it's in the northeastern part of the state, just right directly under the boot hill of Missouri, and that's the area where I live. In fact, Monette was very close. You could drive there pretty quickly and find yourself in Missouri, in the boot hill.
Well, how far is that from Memphis?
That's about 75 miles from Monette.
That's not bad. Okay,
yeah.
Okay. So, what made you move to Memphis? Your father's business?
No, actually, the first job I got out of college was at a little place called Mid-Continent Systems Incorporated there in West Memphis, Arkansas, just on the Arkansas side of the river from Memphis. West Memphis is in Arkansas, while Memphis, of course, is in Tennessee. But I lived there for about 2.5 years in West Memphis, and then I moved to Memphis, and I've been here ever since. And then after
and you were
that,
educated. Share where you were educated, because I'm big on trying to keep education in the schools and teachers and employed, and this Internet's really kicking our butt. But people need social interface and music in schools, and I see a lot of the radio show people on my YouTubes at night when I'm watching them, and radio shows putting down that our educational system's going, I guess, to hell in a handbasket. But anyway, I like to share what I did, and I'm thankful to my teachers. So share where you went to school. There may be somebody tune in sometime and go, hey, I want to go listen to Bill.
Arkansas State University,
days.
which is there in Jonesboro, Arkansas, which is, like I say, Monette is pretty close. It's about 20 miles, a little over, not much, 21, 22 miles, something like that to Jonesboro. And so I went to college there at Arkansas State, and I got my first degree in art education. I actually have 2 bachelor's degrees, and 12 hours toward a master's that I never did finish, but, maybe someday, who knows, I might go back and finish it. But I got my first degree, like I say, in art education. Then I went back to school after a year off and got a second bachelor's degree in computer science. So now what I do with computer graphic art is kind of like a marriage of the 2 degrees, I do a lot with fractals and also with 3D graphics. And I guess I really started, when it came to computer graphics, I really got deep into the 3D graphics for several years. And then when I discovered fractals, it became a source of great fascination for me. For those who don't know, fractals are basically using mathematical formulae, kind of similar to algebraic formulae, and they are used to generate graphic images. And it actually does what it's called iterating, which it you start with a random number. You can, at least. You start with a random